You know, we have a range of directorates in the council, we have the police, we have partners, lots of work is going on. Do we necessarily know exactly what all of those things are, and do we have all that information all in one place? The answer I'll give to you is no. And that's why I've set up the task force to bring that all together with the right people at the table so that we can, as I said, work out what it is we do, what it is we're not doing. If what we're doing is successful, carry on with it. If it's not successful, stop that, divert the resources into something else, and to find and identify the gaps and plug them. And you're absolutely right, you know, my view is very clearly, and has been for a long time, that the two missing bits from all the work we do is young people and parents, and alongside of that goes communities. But I think that's what the task force will identify, and we will very quickly have to put plans in to make sure that we fill those gaps.
I think as well, I just want to say that, I mean, obviously for me, this is day one, you know, so I've been very keen to kind of put this on the agenda. It's always easy in these situations to kind of have an issue about what's happened, and the truth is that I can't really do anything about the past, but we can do stuff about the future. So actually we need to be kind of clear about what we're trying to do, and actually meetings in themselves don't ever really solve a problem, but hopefully this is the start of a network and conversations, and if you've got asks of us, then we need the community to kind of make those asks clear, so that we can understand how we also need to respond, because, you know, all the stuff around youth services is such a valid point, and I know that Jeanette is here, and you know, I've known Jeanette for years as someone who worked with me in the youth service on the Young People's Council, but now we've got far more young people on Instagram and social media than we'd ever have come in to a youth club or engaging in a provision. What messages are we putting into connecting with those young people in Greenwich who will be online, but despite our best efforts, and we could recommission the whole thing tomorrow, they'd still not walk through the door, and we need to kind of refocus our work about how we're going to engage people in a wider sense, you know, and in the community as well, because, you know, I was with Anthony and Adele and Tonya at a knife crime event that happened in Woolwich a couple of weeks ago. There were some people there from the community, but there could have been more. We've got our big event coming up with the great get-together in Woolwich this year, and obviously we want to see the whole community there, and really build on these links, you know, because there's never an easy answer to re-engagement, and you're never going to solve it. But you've got our commitment that we'll keep going, and we'll keep talking and working together, because that's all we can do, really. Okay, Matt, did you want to say something? Yeah.
Just quickly, we firstly, thank you, Wayne, because I think that was, for me, that's the most powerful contribution we've had in terms of cutting through to the chase, really, because you're right. I have been in too many rooms discussing this subject where 90% of the room is middle-aged white men, and that is not who this problem affects. We are by and large talking about young black men.
You're talking about me.
Not exclusively, but young black men, you're right, 16 to 24. And I think that can throw up, I mean, in a sense it can throw up unhelpful barriers, because we all need to solve this together, so it can't be a problem just for the black community, but without those young people, not just young people, but without people from that community in the room leading the discussion, I would say, it's going to remain in a sense quite a sterile one, that's just about the data, just about programs and services and others, which is why I say I think this is a great start, because, you know, we need to have this conversation at all levels, but it does need to go out. For me, I've been toying with ideas in my own mind. It needs to go out onto the estates. We need to have meetings that bring the community together in a way that they, you know, find approachable and welcome and feel they can go to, and that those young people can go to. I was speaking to someone the other day and saying, what would an MP's event on knife crime look like? Well, why would someone go, in a sense, to an event on knife crime that an MP holds? Why would the young people that we need to get to go to that? So it has to be shaped around the communities and the people being affected. But just in relation to your second point, just very quickly, I don't have, and it sort of links to the same point, I don't have prevention or diversion programs in mind. I don't, because I think they need to be partly shaped by the community. And it might be sport. It's worked well for a lot of the communities around here. It might be other programs. I suppose my role is to say to the Home Secretary, funding is not the, as I said, when I said right in my remarks at the start, funding, wouldn't guarantee that this problem goes away, but funding is a part of the problem, and funding needs to be addressed. And the Home Office Minister, in the debate on the government's serious violence strategy the other day, conceded the point in terms of the capital and the need for funding. But we need upfront, urgent funding, because I'm just worried about the summer.
You touched on the prevention and diversion plans earlier.
Not plans. Let me be very clear then. What I said was I have written to the Home Secretary, and I have said that I think to avoid an escalation in the violence this summer, which is what I fear we could be looking at, we need some urgent funding for diversion and prevention programmes. I'm not saying I have a plan or programmes that are specific and that I think would work in X area of my constituency, or I'm saying that is a conversation for the community and the council if they've got that money. But I think the government should come forward with some extra funding for the capital in the short term, because we are experiencing a bit of a spike in this particular type of youth violence. That was all I was saying.
Lady with the red hair, I'm going to have to, so we're going to go lady in the red hair, then this gentleman over here.